What if I told you there is a way to pass every resolution in the Galactic community without almost any cooldown? The Defender of the Galaxy Ambition path has a hidden interaction that most players are completely missing. By stacking 3 specific modifiers, you can instantly force any resolution to vote. That means it's possible to reach tier 5 in any resolution tree within a decade, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Quick report from High Command before we dive deeper. Most of you watching aren't officially enlisted yet. If this run gives you ideas for your own games, subscribe and join our navy. In order to pass resolutions instantly, we need to stack -100% emergency measure cooldown. This means that whenever the Senate is in recess, we can immediately propose a resolution to vote, no waiting for the normal 720-day recess period. There are exactly 3 sources of emergency measure cooldown reduction in the game, and they stack perfectly to -100%. Extraordinary powers, the final perk from the politics tradition tree, it gives -25%. Political leaders, the perk from reaching level 2 on the Defender of the Galaxy Ambition path, it gives another -25%. The Galactic Custodian, it has a hidden bonus that most players don't know exists. Being the Custodian gives -50% emergency measure cooldown, so combined you get -100%, so 0 cooldown on emergency measures. Every resolution you want goes to vote immediately. Now let's talk about how to get all these 3 online as fast as possible. The politics tradition tree is entirely in your control. You can pick it whenever you want. Ideally, take it as your 3rd tradition tree, just before your species ascension. This way you're not sacrificing your early game economy, but you're getting it early enough to have the extraordinary powers ready when the Galactic Council forms. If you're going all in on this strategy, you could even pick it earlier, but 3rd is a good spot. The Defender of the Galaxy level 2, you're gonna need 2000 valor and participate in the Galactic community. The valor is easier than it sounds. You just don't participate in any war of aggression for 10 years and you'll passively accumulate around 1,800 valor at 180 per year. To cover the remaining 200, you just support any resolution that passes in the Galactic community. The Contribute to the Galactic Community Ambition objective grants 200 valor every time a resolution that you supported gets passed. You also need to complete a special project costing 7,500 society research, roughly equivalent to a tier 3 technology, so not that expensive by the time you're ready for this. Now, becoming the Galactic Custodian is the slowest piece. It requires the Galactic Council to exist, which then requires that at least 10 years have passed since the Galactic community formed. So the real question is, how fast can we form the Galactic community? Most players just wait for the Galactic community to form on its own, but you can speed this up dramatically. The Galactic community forms once any empire, you or the AI, knows at least 70% of the other empires in the galaxy. So if you focus on making contact with everyone, the community can form in the earliest years of the game. You can send 1 or more science ships to auto-explore. Remember, you just need to explore the galaxy, not survey every system. You can also use your military fleet to cover additional ground and set your contacts policy to proactive, so you establish communications faster when your ships encounter new empires. It's a simple exploration micro. Cover as much of the galaxy as possible, as quickly as possible. The faster you find everyone, the faster the community forms, and the faster the 10-year clock to the Galactic Council starts ticking. Now, after the Galactic community forms, you have 10 years before the Galactic Council can be created. Use every one of those years to build diplomatic weight. During this 10-year window, 1 normal resolution cycle takes about 6 years, 2 to start the voting and 4 to finish the voting, so you can pass 1 resolution in this time window. Make sure that the first resolution that passes is proposed by another empire, not you. In order to do that, you just don't propose anything. When a resolution that you supported but didn't propose passes, you gain the Persistent Petitioner's modifier, plus 25% diplomatic weight. This bonus stays active until one of your own resolution passes, so don't propose anything yet, just support other empires' proposals and collect the free diplomatic weight. You can assign your highest level official to the Galactic community. Each skill level gives plus 10% diplomatic weight, and with the Gravitas perk from the Politics Tradition tree, that's an additional 2.5% per level. At effective skill level 5, which is achievable in the first few decades, that's plus 62.5% diplomatic weight from one leader alone. And you don't need the official to stay in the community all the time. You can use them as your sector governor and just assign to the community when you actually need the diplomatic weight, so just before voting or just before any resolution passes. Ships are the most reliable way to increase your base diplomatic weight very quickly, since you can build them pretty much anytime. Every point of fleet power translates directly to the diplomatic weight, and any percentage bonuses multiply that base. You can temporarily boost the fleet power right before votes by activating the war edicts that consume strategic resources. You activate them moments before voting and then you deactivate after. So by following this strategy, you can comfortably hit over 125% general diplomatic weight before you are even the Custodian, and any technology, civics or additional traditions will only make it stronger. Now, once you are on the council, you can start to nominate yourself as a Custodian. If a crisis is active, even something minor like the Void Worms, the AI is more likely to support you, but if no crisis exists, you will need raw diplomatic weight to win. The strongest guarantee is having a delegate with the Focus Galactic Reform trait. At level 1, it gives plus 100% diplomatic weight on Custodian votes. At level 3, plus 500%. It's virtually guaranteed you the win, but it's a veteran trait that only appears after the level 4 and the trait pool is diluted, so you might not even get the option. The more reliable approach is to get the Supremacist diplomatic stance from the Supremacy Tradition tree. It's gonna give you 100% diplomatic weight from fleet power as a bonus. This is multiplicative with your general sources. In an example, if you have 100 base fleet power in terms of diplomatic weight, it becomes 200 from the stance alone. Then, if you have another 100% general modifiers, it doubles, it equals to 400. The fleet power is the most scalable diplomatic weight source and the one that you have most direct control over. You just build more ships. Now you are the Custodian with the Politics Tradition tree and Defender of the Galaxy level 2. Here's how the mechanic works in practice. With minus 100% emergency measure cooldown, you can instantly send any resolution to the Senate for voting, so no waiting, and once the resolution is at vote, you can use the Custodian's power to end the session prematurely after only 720 days, half the normal duration at the cost of 200 influence. That means one resolution passed every 2 years instead of the normal 6. In just 10 years, you can push any single resolution tree from tier 1 all the way to tier 5. In 24 years, you can have every major sanction active and begin denouncing enemies. The only cost is influence, 200 per early session end, plus the resolution proposal cost, which can range from 100 to 300 depending on the tier. However, since we are the Custodian and we have the Defender of the Galaxy, plus the Politics Tradition tree, and I presume that you also have a good amount of ships producing you influence from the power projection, you are gonna be drowning in influence. It won't be that much of a problem. Now let's talk about what you should actually be passing, because some resolution trees are worth rushing far more than the others, like the Tiyanki Preservation Act. This one is pretty crucial, right? The priority number 1 for me is the balance in the middle. It is a tier 4 from the Greater Good resolution tree. You get minus 10% empire size from pops, which is one of only a handful of sources of these modifiers in the entire game, and pretty much any empire struggles with tech and tradition cost scaling nowadays, so this alone justifies rushing the entire tree. It is only going to get better throughout the game. On top of that, we get minus 10% housing usage, which means that if you are running biological pops, you're gonna get better logistic growth, because as we have covered in our pop growth video, planetary capacity and the logistic growth are dependent on the housing, so the more housing you have, the better, and reducing the housing usage is going to give you more housing. At tier 4, you also get access to the greater than ourselves edict, which may not look that impressive, but it is actually pretty good since it gives you plus 200% automatic resettlement chance across all of your colonies. This means that you can leave a lot of the micromanagement around resettling pops between planets just with the automatic resettlement. Whenever a new job is available, pops will shift from one world to another much quicker than most empires in the game. And all of that can be done in roughly 8 years. That is really fast. Now this first resolution tree will already give you a good scaling throughout the game. Next, what I would suggest is that you focus a little bit on your military. Since you are the Custodian, you can propose the creation of the Galactic Defense Force. This will allow you to create ships with minus 25% alloy cost. On top of that, you can have a fleet of 1000 naval capacity, which means you can stack a lot of ships, get one great admiral to lead this fleet, and take advantage of all the admiral perks. On top of that, later on we can even expand the GDF fleet, giving it even more naval capacity, and we can reduce the GDF alloy cost to minus 35%. This is of course without considering the higher levels of the Defender of the Galaxy ambition path, because we could even expand this by another 700 and reduce the GDF ship cost by another minus 20% for a whopping of minus 45%. Yeah, that's right. Now I recommend you focus on the Custodian resolutions first, because they are generally a lot better than the regular ones. Take for instance the Galactic mobilization. It's gonna give 500 naval capacity for all empires across the galaxy at the cost of only minus 5% straight from jobs. A regular resolution tree, the mutual defense, which focuses on naval capacity, can give you up to plus 50% naval capacity, but it also increases your ship upkeep by plus 25%. So it is a very situational resolution tree. Another one that is situational is the industrial development. This one can give you plus 20% minerals from jobs, plus 10% worker output, plus 5% alloys from jobs, and most importantly, it can give you minus 20% metallurgist upkeep. All of these at the cost of minus 25% habitability. So for most empires in the game, the habitability will be a major issue, so you won't be getting this resolution all the way to the maximum. Ideally, what you want to do is have this resolution as high as you can go without hurting your general habitability, because from technologies alone you can get around 110% habitability, so this would allow us to get the Build a Better Tomorrow tier, which is the tier 3, not the way to the tier 5, but if you are a machine species, you can for sure go all the way to the Project Cornucopia. Another one that is very useful later into the game is the resolution from the Galactic Commerce, the profit maximization engines. It gives us 25% trade from jobs, which is nice, but the better bonus here is the plus 10% resources from jobs. Nowadays we don't have a lot of resources from jobs modifiers. Most of our modifiers are job efficiency, so any source of resources from jobs is extremely valuable since it is multiplicative with job efficiency, and for the later stages of the game we usually have a lot of job efficiency from traditions, technologies, and etc. So getting any source of resources from jobs, it's gonna matter a lot. It does come at a cost of plus 25% bureaucrat upkeep, but the bureaucrat upkeep, it is not that much of an issue, especially later into the game when we already completed our traditions and we are not relying on Unity to finish anything. And also the minus 50% naval capacity, it is not that much of a big deal because you can offset that with the mutual defense resolution tree. and then you have full power of the galactic community. You can do pretty much whatever you want. If you have an empire that is threatening to get high levels of diplomatic weight, you can just denounce them and pass a lot of sanctions to reduce their diplomatic weight. If they have diplomatic weight on military, you pass the military sanctions. If they have on technology, you pass the research sanctions, and etc. So you maintain your power. Eventually you will want to remove the custodianship term limit so you can be perpetually the custodian. All of this can be done rather quickly. The main bottlenecks, as we saw, were only two: how fast you can form the galactic community and how much diplomatic weight you can amass in the earlier years. Because after you start your path towards the Galactic Council and the Galactic Custodian, you're gonna have so many diplomatic weight bonuses that, well, nobody will ever be able to catch up to you. So anyway, commanders, that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this new mechanic, this new interaction. It is not very often that we feature something regarding diplomacy here on the channel, and if you did enjoy it, leave a like because it helps me out a lot. And as always, commanders, I will see you guys next time.